Greetings and welcome to this week's edition of 401k Real Talk. This is Fred Barstein, contributing editor at wealthmanagement.com's RPA Edge and CEO at Trow, TPSU, and 401k TV. I review all of last week's stories and select the 5 most important and interesting ones, providing open, honest, and candid discussion you will not get anywhere else. So let's get real. First story, the move towards the adoption of in-plan retirement income, which has been slow and clumsy, just took a major step forward with the recent announcement that Fidelity will be partnering with 4 insurers to make a guaranteed income solution available to their 401k, 403b, and 457 clients. The 4 insurers include Prudential, MetLife, Pac Life, and Western and Southern. As more plans, mostly in the larger market, become willing to retain assets of terminated employees, very few of which have access to a financial advisor, the need for in-plan solutions is real, but has faced many obstacles, the biggest of which is record-keeper adoption and transferability. But when the leader makes a move, others have to take notice, if not follow. Next story, reports by 2 major groups point to the growing importance of convergence of wealth and retirement at the workplace. Marsh Mack's report highlighted the growing desire of clients to have their wealth advisor integrate wealth and retirement planning, while also noting that the workplace is a great way for these advisors to find new wealth clients. Though hiring retirement advisors is one strategy, Marsh Mack's head of retirement, Craig Reed, noted that it's easier to attract wealth advisors to a retirement practice, which might have hundreds of thousands of participants, than it is to attract a retirement advisor to a wealth practice. E&Y's study noted that advisors will need to increase their pool of clients in the future, with retirement plans as one strategy, which can also help with client retention. To be successful in the DC market, wealth advisors will need to better utilize technology as well as build their brand, which really means increase their circle of relationships. Next story, after 425 comment letters and 20,000 petitions, DOL's Tim Hauser stated that the agency will make changes to their fiduciary rule, which has come under fire by critics as being too broad and just a rehash of the 2016 rule, which was vacated by the courts. Stay tuned to see if that really happens and to what extent. Meanwhile, Cerulli reports that the DOL rule could limit the $845 billion that roll out of DC plans because advisors will need to act as fiduciaries and defend the move is in the best interest of clients, all of which could further accelerate the shift to in-plan retirement income. Next story, as DC plans become more high profile, they also come under greater attack, most recently by 2 academic groups. Boston College's Alicia Minnell advocates for the elimination of the tax break for DC plans, which she claims costs $185 billion a year, or 1.3% of GDP, and use that money instead to fund the Social Security system due to run out of money in 2034. Meanwhile, the New School's Teresa Gerducci continues to advocate for federally managed guaranteed accounts, just as Sean Parker of Napster fame is funding an initiative for a similar solution in Congress. So who's right? No doubt that Social Security is the best deal around, especially for people able to wait till 70 to collect. But with almost $10 trillion in DC assets and even more in IRAs, most of which came from DC plans, The results are compelling for tax-deferred, payroll-deducted, participant-directed retirement plans. State plans, tax credits, and PEPs seem to be addressing the coverage issue. At the same time, there are major issues as DC plans are retrofitted on the fly to replace DB plans and help workers without access to an advisor, with slow adoption of retirement income, as well as limiting technology and access to data. We all have a vested interest in the current system, but if we don't improve, sometimes with short-term pain, outside forces will. Finally, the acquisition of Putnam by Franklin Templeton was certainly not driven by DC assets, which will account for less than 7% of their total AUM. But it could be a major harbinger for the DC industry and DCIO managers. While the new firm will still not be a leading target date provider, indexer, or record keeper, which currently define DCIO's success, they can leverage the convergence of wealth and retirement through their 13 external wholesalers, 6 of whom will target wealth advisors through their 100 retail wholesalers. They can also enable the bridge to wealth, helping RPAs develop their wealth practice and wealth advisors leverage DC plans. Read my recent column on wealthmanagement.com about how Franklin is well positioned to ride the convergence wave and could significantly change the DCIO market, opening opportunities for others, as well as enable advisors. So those were the most important stories from last week. I listed a few other stories I thought were worth reading, covering Betterment to offer student loan options, annuity sales post another record year, Cerulli reports how the fiduciary rule could hinder rollovers, Professor Garaducci touts federally managed guaranteed solutions over DC plans, and how advisors should leverage state mandates. Please let me know if I missed anything or if you have any comments. Otherwise, I look forward to speaking with you next week on 401k Real Talk.